So guys, so I just wanted to share a thought with you. Um, I remember the exact moment where I realized that I needed to be more protective of my time and my energy, and I needed to be more selective about who I give my time and my energy to, and in what capacities and in what amounts. I was having this particular day. I was having a longish day. I was very busy at work, and even after work, when I was making my way home, I found that a lot of people were sort of in need of my energy and my time and my resources, and I felt like really pulled in all sorts of directions. And I remember on a few occasions that particular day, I had like two people speaking to me at the same time, and I had to literally tell them, guys, I can't listen to both of you. One of you needs to speak to me at the time, and then so that I can listen to you and then listen to the next person. And what was particularly frustrating for me was that I couldn't make out what any of them were saying because they were both speaking over each other. And it was just that sort of day where that type of thing was happening, and I found that people were pulling in for my energy. Everybody needed me to do something for them. And in a lot of the cases, that thing wasn't even really my responsibility. But I've always felt that you should help out where you can for the people that you care about. And on this particular day, I just realized that a lot of people was asking a lot of things that wasn't actually my responsibility. And what happened later that evening is I had my kids with me, and I felt really, really drained. I felt really low energy, low attention. I was just really struggling to get through the rest of the day. And we got home, and Jada, who's a little bit older, was kind of, hello, hi. Jada kind of settled in very quickly. But my son in particular is quite young. He was 4 at the time, and he just kind of wants to play with dad, and all he wanted to do was play. And I had just zero energy in me, and I did the best I could. I played with him a little bit, but again, every time I played with him, somebody else would try and pull my attention away. And at the end of the day, what had happened that evening was I gave more of my energy and more of my attention to sort of the adults around me and the people who I felt was kind of more urgent and in need of my attention and my resources, which at the time was obviously just my time. And I went through all of that, and a couple of things just didn't go my way that evening, and I ended up getting so frustrated that while my son was waiting for me to come and play with him, and all he wanted to do all day, all he kept asking me all day was, Dad, come and play with me. And while he was waiting for me to come and play with him, I got so frustrated that I actually left the room. I went into another part of the house, and I just screamed in frustration. And I did that because I didn't want to show my frustration around him, and I didn't want to sort of scream around him or raise my voice around him. And I just went into another room and just let out like a grunt of just energy, just frustration, because I felt so frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted to do or needed to do. I couldn't get to him. I couldn't get to everything. I was pulled in so many different directions. I felt like when you've got a bunch of cars at an intersection, and the light isn't working, and everybody's trying to cross the line at the same time, and no one ends up going, and it ends up just being a massive pile up. And that's what my head and my energy felt like. And I got so frustrated, and I went into a different part of the house, and I went to just let off a cry. And once I got that out of my system, I came back to the room, and I realized very quickly my son had a real weird look on his face. And as I came close to him, he just absolutely burst into tears. He just bawled his eyes out. He was so upset, and he was so hurt. He didn't understand why I had gone to scream. All he knows is that the last thing he asked for was for me to come and play with him. And the next thing, I'm in a different part of the house, and he can hear me letting out a scream. And I've never seen him that upset. He bawled his eyes out. He jumped into my arms, and he just held me tight and just cried. I couldn't get him to stop sobbing. And he just cried his heart out. And it was in that moment that I realized that it's not selfish to be selective about your energy. I had spent my day giving the energy and the resources to the people that should have got them when they got them. But when it came time for my kids to have their piece of the pie, I didn't give it to them, and I kept prioritizing these other people and other things that needed my energy, because I didn't want to let people down. And at the end of the day, I let down the people that meant the most to me, that needed me the most. And those are my kids. Guys, it's not selfish to say no. I think we should normalize saying no to people and to things that pull our energy away from the things that are important. We cannot have our kids cry in our arms because we're doing something else that they perceive through our action to be more important. I think we need to get to a place where we figure out what's the most important thing in our lives, and my kids are everything to me. And it hurt me deeply to see my son cry the way he did that day. But it did open my eyes. Guys, let's be picky about our time. Let's be selfish about our time. It is not selfish for you to prioritize the things that are important to you. And I think we should normalize that, and we should celebrate that. Be there for your kids. Be there for the people that mean the most to you and the people that you mean the most to. They're going to thank you for it for the rest of their lives. While those things and people that demanded your energy, when quite honestly, if I look back, most of them didn't deserve it at that moment. And I think we need to look at ourselves and celebrate our choices and celebrate the things that are important to us. And let's put our energy there. Let's put our energy there. That's the most important thing. And our kids are going to love us for it, and our kids are going to thank us for it. Have a fantastic day, guys.